Blowing in from the Windy City, it's time for JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
Welcome to this week's broadcast of JW Fusion. I am your co-host, JW Barnes, and I'm here with the awesome and magnificent Wendy B.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, right so much.
Hey.
What's going on right so much?
You know what?
Your speakers intact.
Woo. Every week,
You
y'all
be on it.
keep me lifted.
You be on it and you own it.
That's the goal.
We got a show this week, baby.
This woman right here.
We got a show. We got a show.
We have a show.
We got a show
Powerful.
this week. There's a powerful show.
Impactful.
Oh, this week,
Yes.
we got Kara.
We have Kara Scott-Dentley.
The
Hey,
one
girl.
and only. Welcome.
She's smart. She's fine.
And she's brilliant.
And she's brilliant.
And she's
she
smart.
has a heart.
Yes. Yes, she's part of a
We
dynamic
got
duo.
a lot to unpack.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Yes.
we do. Welcome to JW Fusion. So happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Oh my God, like the energy is just.
Well,
Yeah.
we had to pump it up for you,
You had to
girl.
pump it up. Yes. Yes.
That's what I remember when I first met her.
What was that?
She just had this energy.
Yeah. I
She
remember you
just-
told me.
I said, this woman
You
is
told me
just
you were where you
walking
were
energy
Wait a
at
minute. You were
church.
at an event and she popped up. Hey.
Hey, yes. And
It
she's
just-
like that every time.
It changes your day, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
Brightens the day.
Positive energy is just
I said,
powerful.
hey, girl.
Just powerful.
Yeah, we knew right there we would.
Right. It seems like from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, yep.
We were just
she-
like,
we
yep,
friends.
give me your information.
We friends. Yep. So that's awesome. Lots to unpack, though.
Yes. Go ahead, baby.
This
Get it
woman
rolling.
is I said, what's a double scientist?
Well, we'll let Kara tell us about that.
Tell us about
is-
being a
tell us about
double
that.
scientist.
Well, a double scientist is. It simply means that I have 2 scientific degrees.
Okay.
So I have a degree in physics and a degree in geospatial analysis.
Nothing about that is simple, but carry on.
Right. So
So what is geospatial? What is that?
geospatial is the science behind what many of us are familiar with as far as Google Earth, Google Maps. We use it all the time, navigation. But we never really sit down and think about what is the science that actually
Right.
goes into this.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Never.
And not only that, it's how it's used.
Okay.
Okay.
So businesses use it, government definitely uses it.
I'm sure they do.
Military uses it.
Yeah.
And now everyday people use it.
Yeah.
You know, just to simply get around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the most important components of anything that you do, in order for me to get here, where am I going?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything
That's
is
in life.
in life.
Yeah.
Everything
It
is
is.
where is it?
Yes.
That's
Girl,
true.
you better.
That's
and then,
true.
Then wait, babe.
Yeah.
She retired at 35.
I know.
What? So-
My life was just getting started at 35, man.
I was still trying to figure out life at 35. She didn't retire. So you go
That's
from
beautiful.
retirement. What makes you make that decision? And then do you have a plan like I want to do this next?
Yeah.
You know
Because
what?
you got to know where you're going.
Got to know where you're going, right?
Do you know in the ancient Hebrew language they have no word for retirement. They don't have a word for
Well,
it.
obviously she don't understand it either.
They don't have a word for retirement, and
Yeah.
they don't have a word for coincidence because they believe everything is divine.
There's a reason.
Everything is
I
in
agree.
divine order.
Completely
And
agree
it's
with
based on things that happen to us are based on our decisions. So it's if you didn't make a decision and something happened, which is impossible, but if you didn't, then maybe that could be a coincidence in that culture. But to make a decision to shift, she may have retired, but she didn't refired.
Right.
And set off another set of rockets.
You set off a lot of rockets.
Yes.
What do you do after retirement?
After retirement. So I made the decision to retire at 35 at the age of 17.
Wow.
Okay,
You had a
okay.
plan.
I had a plan.
Come on, talk about that.
I knew that I wasn't set out to just work for somebody for the rest of my life. I just knew that within my heart of hearts. And I
Okay.
didn't need anybody's opinion about it.
Right.
But at the same time, I knew that I needed to lay a foundation.
Sure.
Good for
sure.
you. That's so smart. Did that come from childhood, the family environment, something that was just in you?
I think it was a combination of things of seeds that were planted in me, and the dots just kind of connected.
Okay.
Okay.
And it just started to make sense.
Yeah.
And I started, and I have a thing about money. I think most people do, but it
Well,
depends
yeah.
on what side of it you own, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And I was always saving my money.
Okay.
And even from a very young age. And I just started thinking, I'm like, if I position myself and I save up enough money, there's no reason that if I work for 18 years that and this was thinking about this at the age of 17.
Wow.
That I should not be able to put my money away, that I should be able to not work for anybody else for the rest of my
Okay.
life
Wow.
Okay.
at the age of 35, because I just figured 18 years is there's more than enough time
Wow.
to save money.
And you did. So how do you, because,
That's
okay,
a powerful mindset.
It
That-
is. And I needed
because,
to know somebody like her when I was at
You know,
age.
she said the key thing, though. She said seeds that were planted. There were seeds that were planted that she watered and she
Right.
nurtured. We try to tell kids things now from our experiences in life, but their mindset is, I want to play now. I want to have fun now.
Yeah.
It's rare that you find a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. They exist, but it's rare that they have the mindset to think long term like that.
Right.
That's a very mature mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
agree.
we all come here with our own giftings. We all have
yeah,
a gift.
definitely.
And we have an obligation. So obviously, Kara had a gift that God put in her from birth, obviously for science, but beyond science, but for entrepreneurial endeavors,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people that need to hear your voice. They need to hear your story.
They do.
And their children need to hear your story.
I was about to say, parents
You
need
know?
to hear it because,
Yeah, exactly.
like you said, we raise them with our experience, but we were raised, you grow up, you go to school, you get
yeah.
a job, you retire, and that's not what's happening now. So talk to the parents, like to have
Yeah.
a child, to have that mindset at such an early age, because that's powerful.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't realize that till we're older, but you captured that early, which is boss. All day, girl. So keep
Yeah.
going. Keep
Yeah,
telling
go
us.
ahead. Go ahead. Tell
One
us.
of the things that I would tell anyone who has any amount of money coming in, I don't care if you're 10, I don't care if you're 12, if you're tutoring, if you're babysitting, put away more than you spend, because sometimes people just feel like, I've heard people say this and use this cliche, money burns a hole in my pocket. And it's like, what? Like, no
Yeah.
part of that even makes...
Or you can't take money with
Yeah.
you.
Or you
Yeah.
can't take money
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we are not in position to leave behind generational wealth. And that's why the generation that comes behind us can't even use our ceiling as their floor, as their starting point.
Wow. Yeah.
So looking at that and just thinking, and I just thank God for that. But I had an aunt that everybody would always say, I didn't receive anything, but she did tell me this: if you have $1, make sure that you put away at least 50 cents. She did tell me that.
Okay. And you listen. That's key.
That's it.
Yeah.
But because there were other kids in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I heard that, and ever since then, I was like, okay, I have to do that.
Yeah.
And so I would get money and I would put it away, because they will always have something for you to buy.
Always.
There's always something for you to buy.
Yeah.
But at what point do you say, you know what? Let me have some discipline. And right now, I started last year saving every $5 bill that came into my hand.
Wow. Okay.
Every $5 bill. And this year, I upped the ante and said, okay, every $10 bill that come into my
Okay.
hand, I don't spend any 10.
Okay.
Wow.
And I don't even count it to see how much I've put away.
Just put it over there.
I just put it
Okay.
away. I just act just like it didn't even come into my hand. I don't plan it. I don't ask for them. But when I get them,
You know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's discipline, because that's where the beginning of any type of success that you want to have. I don't care if it's in athletics. I don't care if it's in
True.
academics.
Very
you have
true.
to have discipline. And when I hear people say, "Oh, I want to have a lot of money," well, you don't even know how to keep what you have.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
true.
discipline and youth don't tend to go together.
Discipline in anything.
Well, yeah.
Because for one thing, I think, I don't like to say things are passed down genetically, but the environment that we grow up in, I know where I grew up in Inglewood,
My husband grew up in
Really?
Inglewood. Y'all
Yeah.
might know each other.
We might, because I got drafted into the Gangster Disciples in '69, I think it was. And where we lived, it was, you live from month to month. And if you get the rent, get groceries, pay the light bill, gas bill, telephone bill, you did good.
Right.
You know, my mother was good with money. She'd say, look at my hands. You see my hands? You can't see no spaces? That's because I can hold some money. My mother, we were on aid. My mother was so good with money that she was able to loan my brother money to buy a car. Now, I said, Mom, where you get this money from? Because I can hold some money. She just had that. And so the environment I grew up in, people had the mindset, they had short-term thinking. And I think it's indicative of our culture, too much a part of our culture, that we think in terms of tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean literally if the day's Thursday, we thinking about Friday. And that's as far as we think. We don't think about 5 years or 10 years down the road. And sometimes we just don't think that way. Now, hopefully when we mature, we grow into that by opening our ears and learning, maybe listening to you and your story and the wisdom that you have. And I believe there's an anointing that goes with certain giftings because of your experience, you can say something to somebody because of your experience and it's going to hit them here and not here. Because if you get somebody in the heart, it's going to go to their mind. But if it goes to the mind, it goes one ear and out the other. Yes, and so because of your experience, it's going to have a heavier weight. So your gifting is to pull people out of their own limitations that they were born into, you know. And I think that's an amazing gift and a heavy responsibility that you have because you can influence generations. You know?
And it's one thing to have that vision that you have for yourself. How do you evolve into wanting to spread that word and wanting to help others to come up and do better?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I think there are always opportunities to help other people. And sometimes we want this big, massive goal. We need an event in order to be on a stage and to spread the word. But I'm spreading the word with even my son.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm spreading the word even within my family, my parents. There are certain things that I would say and they kind of think, I never thought about it like that. And, you know, a lot of times we see when people see sales, oh, girl, these shoes on sale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do you need them?
Right.
Not only that, like I don't deprive myself of things that I want, but I have to really want it. I don't just purchase something because it's on sale.
Right.
Now, if I like it and it's on sale,
That's
then it's
that's
a
bonus.
win-win.
Yeah.
But it's not just because it's on sale. That's how you wind up with stuff in your closet with tags.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then people say it's 30% off,
That's
but you
good.
save 100
That's
if you just
good.
don't buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you don't think about
They're not
what
giving
you-
it away.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not giving it
That's
away.
powerful what you just said.
Yeah.
The difference between a need and a want. That's something I cover in my book. I have a new book coming out called Shattered Ceilings, Crushing Limited Thinking. And that's one of the points that I make the difference between a desire and a want. When you want something, that want stems from a sense of deprivation or emptiness. A desire comes from the heart. It's passionate. There's love attached to it.
But people have to understand there's a fine line between those two.
There is a fine line.
Because I've
but
been shopping with some people who needed the shoes that was on sale.
See,
I
need is different.
these.
That's a whole nother
It
thing.
is different,
Yeah.
but it's such a fine line. And depending on your upbringing
Yeah.
and your environment, you don't know the difference necessarily.
You don't, and that's the important.
And that's
why
the
it's so
first thing you
important
have to learn is what's that difference.
You got to understand it.
And we have to be mindful of how we use. It's not often that we go and we actually look up words. And we just kind of toss them around because we've heard them in context.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the mall and I'm just looking, because sometimes if you really pay attention, when you're shopping, you can look in your closet and find something that's like what you looking at in the store,
Yes,
and
that
create
you're about
the
to
same
buy.
style.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true.
And this girl was like, "Oh my God, I love these shoes," and she like made a big deal out of it. And I'm like, "You love the shoes?" And I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you really, or do you, I mean, and I'm very conscious of what I attach love to. I'm
We
just
all
like,
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you diminish the value of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you may say, I really like these shoes, or I really like this car, I really like, you know, and that's fine. But when you start saying, placing love on
Yeah.
material things, now you're
Powerful.
starting to, you don't even know how to, now check this out, because when you tell somebody you love them, or they tell you they love you, you just love shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm like a shoe.
So I'm like a shoe, yeah.
So how do
I can
That's
be worn
good.
out.
That's
I can be
good.
worn out. I can be tossed away and replaced.
And you know what?
Wow.
Do you know some people love like that?
They do. Yeah.
They will love you from the place of what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
What
That's
have
powerful that she said, we don't look
what,
up.
What have I worn you to lately?
Yeah.
You know, you starting to
Man.
lean, you starting to get a
That's
hole in you.
good.
I'm gonna replace you.
Yeah, I need
That's
to
so
know.
good.
That is powerful.
I need to know one, because we grow up with habits. What we pass down is not generation. We don't, you know, it's not in the DNA, but we pass down habits from generation to generation. And when you start to do that, and people don't know, well, where does she get that from? It's not in the DNA. Even, I mean, this is a whole other topic, but even like diseases. And it's
Speak.
disease.
Disease.
Speak.
Yes.
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 That's not hereditary either.
You know,
No,
my
it's
mama,
not.
my
Right.
mama's
Mm-mm.
father.
I agree.
It's not.
I agree.
It's the
Yeah.
habits. That's
Yeah.
why when you go to the doctor, and I guess this is time to transition, I don't know, but that's why when you go to the doctor, they ask, well, did mama have
Yes.
diabetes? Did mama, because they're asking the question, not from the standpoint of it being hereditary, but the fact that
habit.
mama had the habits.
Powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
That's powerful because
Ooh, that's good.
I was just telling Karen, I was just telling Sharon yesterday. We were talking about how habits.
Sharon is our friend. People
Yeah.
are like, who is Sharon?
Sharon Ellis,
Yeah.
our little sister.
Yeah, hey girl.
But we were talking about how stress stems from your thoughts. See, in the church world, people attribute every negative thing to the devil, and that is erroneous. Now, granted, you can have an evil thought that comes, but it's a thought. I don't personally believe that there's an evil spirit that can take over your physical body if you're a believer, because he can't come in where if God's already in there, ain't no room.
Right.
And I was sharing with her how we, with our thinking, we embrace a thought either from the present or the past. And we take that thought and when we embrace it and allow it to come in instead of casting it down and driving it from our think, we allow it to take root, and then our body says, oh, you're thinking about the things such and such a person did to you. This person that used to call you names, or the time you lost your job, and those same feelings come back. And you say, this ain't nothing but the devil. No, that's you.
That's you.
Right.
And you're thinking,
Yeah.
you're causing your endocrine system to secrete these same chemicals to duplicate that experience, because your body don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
It's allowing your analytical mind to tell it, where are we? Oh, this is what's happening. Okay, your body starts to create stress hormones. And stress hormones generate cancer. It generates anxiety. It generates depression. All of the stuff that happens to us, it's because of our own thinking, the thoughts we allow to be dominant in our minds. And so that's what the Bible tells us, that we're to cast down imagination, which are thoughts, and every high thing that exalts itself. What does that mean? When a thought tries to usurp or take the place of what you know God has said in his word. If he told you to think on whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are of a good report, to be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things.
Right.
And you're thinking about, I ain't got no money. My job's about to go out. How do you know? Well, I heard a rumor.
Right.
You know, I think my husband's cheating on me. How do you know? I don't know, because he'd be looking funny. Well, you looking funny. Maybe that's why he's looking funny.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so you
And
allow
people take those things negatively.
Yes.
When you, like for me, when I was working, I would hear the rumors, and normally a lot of it is true. Okay, so this job is about to go, so let me do what I need to do,
Yes.
right, to position myself,
Right.
that I'm not worried about what's going on with these
Right.
rumors,
Yeah.
because it could be long term, it could be next week, it could be
Yes,
today.
yes.
So I would put myself in position. I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Let me
There
go
you
just
go.
find me something else,
And
right?
it
That's
comes-
more stable.
Yeah.
Yes.
But people tend to take things and woe is me and lose sleep and
Yeah.
And
You know,
it's-
instead of finding, okay, so
Yes.
this is
It's-
this could be God telling you this is your time, boo.
And you know what?
You get to relive it.
Yeah.
If you hold on to it, like what you were just saying, you get to relive that moment.
You do.
You know, the heartbreak. You get to relive it.
Yeah.
And when you hold on to your limitations, you get to keep them.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
I
Yes.
can't. I'm not. I'm this. I'm.
Yes.
And that's if and here we go.
Come on.
Well, go ahead
Speak,
on
girl.
there. Go ahead.
In the Bible, God said, "I am that I am."
Yes.
Which means, therefore, everything we put after "I am" points back to God.
Yes.
So when you take on anything, as far as you was talking about, as far as keep your thoughts in your mind on these higher things, when you start to say, I am tired, I am broke, I am whatever, I'm always, people are always me. Well,
Yeah.
such is the
Yeah.
story of my life. That's when you remove God out of the picture
Yes.
because God said, I am.
He's none of that.
And he's none of that.
He's none of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've just cursed yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you just did that.
And you got a whole group of friends doing the same thing. Girl, me too.
supporting you. Right.
Yes.
You get to hold on to your limitations.
Yes.
And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
What's really sad, I won't say funny because it's not funny. Haha. It's ironic that people that have what they call pity parties or as Earl called them, negative Neds.
Negative Ned.
They got
Girl.
something negative to say all the time.
Yeah.
They want somebody to keep them company with their negativity. Now you come along with what you just said. Oh, here she come. Here,
Right.
here come Miss
She always
Positive
positive.
Polly
Right.
with
Like she don't have no
with her
problems.
with her upbeat energy.
Yeah.
With her just-
Speak on that because you said you've known the excitement and frustration. So I'm sure that's what we were just talking about was part of your frustration.
Yeah.
So let's
yeah,
unpack
talk about that. Yeah.
The part of the frustration was seeking other people's advice, which was not so much of a
Yeah.
bad thing,
Yeah.
but it had its place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I said, you know what do I feel innately?
And trust that.
What is God telling me? And trust that. Because sometimes people, people go to their parents, go to their grandparents, uncles, aunts, people, trusted advisor, whatever, the pastor. They can only take you according to what their conscience has allowed them to do.
True.
There's a ceiling with what they can even shed light on for you.
Yes.
And when you allow someone else's opinion to infiltrate something that God has already told you, it becomes frustrating, especially when this is someone that you love, that you
Yeah.
trust, that you
Yes.
got.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not that they're trying to keep you back. When
That's
I see
what they
people,
know.
it's
That's
what
what
they
they
know.
live.
That's
That's
it.
what-
They
yeah.
they can't take you any further. And you have to trust
But
with
you have
every
to pay attention
part.
to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
And
want to
have
go to
be
somebody
plugged
on
in.
the same level
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now-
Somebody
I
needs some
agree.
advice. You want to go
Yeah.
higher.
But you have people that say, well, I talked to my mom and she don't think it's a good idea. She has your best interest at heart.
She does.
But she doesn't know what you know.
Yeah.
Because my parents initially, they were like, you gonna do what?
Or were you talking about retiring?
Oh yeah.
Like, you-
It took me 2 years to retire after telling them that I was leaving my
Wow.
job.
Really? Wow.
Because I trusted them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they didn't know. They both
Yeah.
worked 40 years. They didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That was, for them.
and it worked back then.
It worked back then.
That's
Yeah.
not what you can do now. You can't stand on that.
The conversation I had with that 7-year-old, it's not the same conversation that my parents had with me. I don't
Yeah.
beat
So
it
talk
down
about
his
what you
throat.
talked to him about.
Oh, I want him to be free.
Yes.
He is so free.
Love that.
I listen to him with every part of me so that I can know him.
Right.
Because his gifts will come out
Yeah.
if I allow him to speak. And so many times people, and I mean, like,
That's good.
speak. I'm
That's
talking
powerful.
about, like,
That's
I
powerful.
just, what do
Yes.
you want to do? You
Yeah.
know, well, I want to do this, and I want to, and I'm like, that's good, and I
And
just let him
encourage
talk.
that, right.
I don't shut him up. Sometimes people be like,
Oh.
Kids ought to be seen and not,
Not heard.
heard.
Little
Yeah.
pictures got big ears. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I did the same with Matthew. I threw him into everything.
Yeah.
Just to see what would stick, what wouldn't stick.
Yeah.
But when he said, it was his idea, which I wasn't happy about, because I want to take credit for it, but I can't. That's okay. But he wanted to go into theater, and I was like, oh, okay. And he's stayed with it, and I've made every performance, and
he's
whatever,
very good.
no matter how small
Yeah.
the part, no matter how big. And I said, you do what you want to do.
That's it.
I'm going to guide you as much as I can,
Yeah.
but you got to listen to your inner self
That's
and
it.
go with that and know that I got your back for whatever you want to do.
That's it.
You know, Hollywood is not my choice for him, but he has to make that decision.
Yeah.
I said, because at the end of the day, if you mad in the position you're in, you're not going to look at me
Yeah.
Right.
and say, well, my mama encouraged me to do this or she told me not to do that. This is your decision, and you can own it better when it has been your decision.
Exactly.
And what's awesome about it is the thread that's been common since he's been up, since he was 12. He's been interested in photography, film, and so now he's enrolled in Columbia for film.
Yeah.
And he's interned with our production company over the summer, and I think back in the winter too, right? Yeah.
But like you said, it's about listening.
Yeah.
You got to listen to your child. You
Yeah.
got to pay attention. And sometimes you don't necessarily have to address right there what they're saying. You just kind of store it.
Yeah.
And then kind of listen to the patterns as it goes and then guide them that way.
And
But
validate,
you got to
and
listen and
validate,
validate.
and validate that desire that they have, because parents have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
So the worst thing a kid can have is you're desiring to fly jet. You want to be a pilot.
You
and,
can't
and
do
they're
that.
telling you, no, boy, go on down there to the post office, get you a
Right.
job.
Get you a good job.
Get you a government job.
Good job, right.
With benefits.
They don't, they don't tell you. They don't tell you. You might have some weeks you don't get paid, but that's okay.
That's okay.
You got a good job.
Or the stress of it all.
And then you'll get this, because then it's this guilt thing. Well, do you know how many people would die to get your job?
Yes.
I said, you know what? After a while, when I really when I just felt like I was coming up on my 36th birthday, so
Okay,
I was
okay.
35, and I was like, this been in my spirit for
For
too
too
many
long,
years.
right.
I can't
Yeah.
not do this.
Yeah, yeah.
And when it was coming up, I was just like, man, I just got to do it. My dad, because I would go see them almost every day. So I would go over there and I would sit with them. And my dad said, well, go for it.
Come on, Dad.
You went this far, this long, and if you just feel this strongly about it,
Do what you have to
go
do.
ahead. And then he came back and said, Oprah didn't work for the government.
Come on.
He just thought named Tyler Perry didn't work for the
yeah,
government.
that's
Yeah.
not the only way.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
only way.
We need those positions. So yeah, people who do it,
And whoever
praise
wants to
God,
die for my position can have
they
it.
can have it. You don't have to die, honey. It's yours.
Right, it's yours. And
Yeah.
I felt like for a minute, for like that last 6 months, that I was in somebody's way.
That's powerful.
That is.
That's powerful.
And I was like, I have to leave it.
Wow.
And see, the thing, you had a vision, and I'll wager you had it all written down. You know, you had a vision. You made it plain. Your angels were working on your behalf, setting
And
up
she trusted
everything
herself.
you needed. And
Yeah.
she trusted the gifting.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
people
your gifting.
second guess that gifting. Like you say,
Right.
God
Yeah.
has it all here, and you second guessing, trying to go another way. It's right there. Just go.
And you know what I believe? I believe God set this thing up where there's a lot of religious organizations that one may condemn another. I believe God set this thing up where we can worship him in spirit and in truth. What does that mean? That means you worship him from your heart and in truth of who you are. Now, if your truth is Catholicism, if your truth is being Presbyterian, being Baptist, being Pentecostal, that's your truth. That's your sincere way of communicating and connecting with your creator. And there's nothing wrong with that. One is
Right.
not superior to the other. What's
It's just what
superior
works for you.
is you taking what you have embraced and maximizing it, not just getting a hold to it and saying, yeah, that's what I am, but you're not doing anything with it. You're not
Yeah.
applying
Yeah.
your faith.
Right.
You're not applying what you say you believe.
Right.
You know, and so when I hear a story like what you're saying, it just lets me know that even the more how the world is changing, especially in our community, you know, it's changing because of thinkers who are sharing their thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because there was a time when there was other cultures that came into the United States, and that next generation thought differently. And so they elevated their culture. We were in a situation where we were pushed not to think, not
Right.
to read.
Right.
But that day is gone. That
Right.
day is gone. With the internet, with YouTube, there's no limits to what we can do and what we can accomplish.
Right. It's just a mindset shift.
It is. It's a paradigm
But
shift.
we're about
It
to be
is.
ambushed by the very fast
So,
approaching
yeah,
commercial.
we got a commercial message coming up. We
Ambush.
have
Yeah.
the awesome And amazing. I gotta find some more
My
adjectives.
friend, my sister girl.
For Sister Dentley, Sister
Yes.
Kara Scott-Dentley with her bad self.
Super bad.
Listen,
super
we're gonna
bad.
be right back after this commercial message. Hold on, we'll be right back.
What does your legacy mean to you? It's not just for the rich and the wealthy. It's for each and every one of us. Think about it. How have we become the person we are today? It's through the legacy of the generations that have come before us. I am excited to personally invite you to the Your Legacy Tour Saturday, September 28th at 3 p.m. It's going to be exciting. We will be sharing our thoughts about relationships. Love Mama Anthology co-writers Monica Reed and Wendy Cunningham Barnes. We will be there with books available for purchase. There will be other entrepreneurs there as well on site. Bring a friend, bring your business cards. You never know who you're going to meet. Registration is free and the information about the event is following this message. Come join us. Come on, bring some friends. Let's talk.
You're listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
And we're back.
That commercial talk be.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta just
So
start where we
now
where
you
we
come
was in the
on back.
commercial.
You come on and
Say
repeat
that
what you said
again.
during the break.
Yeah, so the frustrating part, because many of us, and this happens all the time, we hold on to those excuses. We feel like, well, the reason why I can't do this is because
Yes.
I don't have the support. I don't have blah, blah, blah. But when that goes away, then it's back in your court.
Yeah.
And the frustrating part was for me, but it didn't last long because I had a made up mind at that point.
Yeah.
But when my dad did come back, because my mom, she became supportive because I talked about it so
Okay,
much.
okay.
And I painted vision. And I
Okay.
would say, look, when I'm not working, I'll be able to take you to go see your sisters and brothers in the middle of the day. I'll be
yeah.
able to go shopping with you in the middle of the day.
yeah.
So she's getting excited because I'm painting vision for her on
That's
what
how
this
you
means.
do it, though.
Right.
That's smart.
For everybody.
She's sitting upside now.
That's oh yeah.
So she was like, oh, okay. So she was like, yeah. And she couldn't, there was no pushback because it was music to her ears, And so when my dad said that, at that point, the ball was back in my court.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was like, now what you gonna do? It was like this little voice like, now what? And I was like, man.
Take that hard gulp, like, okay.
Right. I took that hard
okay.
go. And I went back to work like, wow.
There's nothing stopping me.
There's nothing stopping me.
Yes.
But me.
Yes.
If I don't do this, it's all on me.
Yes. Yes.
You are in such a position to make this happen.
Gotta
And
do
I'm
it.
like, man.
Just jump.
And the only time I really felt any kind of way with leaving was the day I left. It felt like I was leaving a piece of me because I was connected to
I mean, and
these
it's
people.
important work that you did. So I can
Yeah.
see how you
And
could
you-
be attached to
Yeah,
that.
and you know what? It's true. You are leaving a piece of you, but the piece you're leaving, you've outgrown.
That's it.
It's the equivalent of, I would say your job was like your larvae stage of a caterpillar. And that caterpillar can only stand there for so long. And he's got to break out of that so he can become, through metamorphosis, become that butterfly. If he does not break out
Right.
and leave that behind, that which contained him, he can't soar.
That's it.
And so what you did was you stayed there during the incubation stage, which prepared you, gave you discipline, gave you focus, gave you resolve, gave you a sense of understanding, starting and finishing
Right.
a project, which is
Key.
vital. It's
Very.
key, being able to start, manage, and finish. That's huge. And when you reached your point, when it was time for you to go, if you didn't break out of that cocoon at that point in time and sprout your wings so you could soar, you would have died.
This is true.
Yeah.
I started having dreams.
Come on.
I started having dreams.
Yeah.
They were very, and I still remember very distinct dreams. One, I jumped out of I just started to fly.
Yeah.
And
that goes right with what he was just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just jumped. And it's funny because I did a Facebook Live at work talking about this dream.
Oh.
Okay.
And I said, I have to go. I have to leap. Like this dream, it was so vivid.
Yeah.
And it was myself.
And putting it out there in public
and
makes it
putting
real, real
makes
too.
it real, real.
And wait, let me say this. You had that dream. What year was that? You remember?
That I left in 2016. It was in 2016.
Okay, 2016. All right. that was probably before Steve Harvey did this video on taking a leap.
Yeah,
The
he,
jump.
he took my stuff. No, I'm
Yeah.
just playing.
No, I'm just saying, this was, it was a concept. It's a truth
Yeah, it's very
Right.
true.
that it is a leap that you
It
took.
is.
And when you leap, it's the equivalent with an eagle. They take those baby eagles,
I just saw
You
that
gotta
they
go.
today.
take them up and drop
You
them.
got to go.
Either
yeah.
you gon'
saw
either you
that.
gonna fly or die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
saw
know?
an eagle like coming up
Yeah.
LaGrange.
Come on.
And he was with his babies.
Okay.
Yes.
Drop them wings, and
That's
if
right.
you know anything about eagles, I love birds.
Love
Yeah,
eagles.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they soar because they exert so much energy when they flap their wings, and if they always flap their wings, that they would die. And I remember the first time I saw an eagle, I looked up and I'm like, that is like way up there. But
No
that's
other
what
bird
eagles
can.
do.
No
They
other
fly
bird
high,
soars at
and they
that
fly,
height.
They
At that
fly
height.
alone.
No other bird. If you see an eagle at a certain height, there's no
It's
other bird
another
around
eagle.
it.
Yeah.
It's another
If they
eagle.
Right.
do it, it's
Yeah,
another
that's true.
eagle.
That's
Let's
true.
talk about the Kara today, because you and hubby, Mr. James Dentley,
Yes.
y'all have a lot that you do, and I don't want to miss talking
I
about
want
what
you to
you
talk
do
about
currently.
that. Well, wait a minute. Before we get into that, talk about your event coming up in December.
Yes. December 13th, 14th, and 15th is called Limitless. And we've done the Limitless before. And people ask me all the time, when is the next Limitless event? Because it's for women, by women. When men come, of course,
Okay.
James is there. But we orchestrate and we do the whole thing.
Okay.
Because there was one thing that James realized as he trained speakers, that there weren't enough stages for women. And this was in 2017
Okay.
when we did the first one. But he had this vision for a long time, and it just made it easy and seamless when I came. When I left my job, it was like, okay, here we go.
Let's do it.
And I just felt like everything, especially when you're doing events or you have some type of large production, it feeds from the energy from the people that's putting it together.
Yes.
Sure, definitely.
And we notice so much. We laugh, we cry, we pray, we dance,
Yeah.
we do everything. We allow you
Just
to
real.
just be free.
Just be real
Have
and be
fun,
free.
get content, learn something so you can take it back and apply it to your life. And then you can go back and be that mother, be that wife,
pass
be
it
that
on.
daughter,
Yeah.
and share something
Yes.
that you learn here,
Yes.
because we all have a story.
Everyone has a
You
story.
know, and
yes.
the thing is the outcome of it. What did you do?
Yeah.
How did you make this happen?
Yeah.
So we come together and we provide these stages, and these are people that are just good in their areas. Whatever it is that you do, and just come out and just share it.
So how can they get information on this event?
Follow my page?
What
My
your
Facebook
page
page,
is, girl.
my
Yes.
Instagram page.
And what are they?
Kara
what is-
Scott-Dentley. So
Okay.
KaraScott. That's the millennial girls. Dentley.
Okay.
I heard a lady say, you new school wives, y'all want to hold on to every name. I said, well, look, it's because I've published and done so much with Kara
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Now, if it was a big deal, it would be like, okay, well, all right, James,
Yeah, yeah.
But more so now I'm shifting because more people are coming to know me as Kara
As Dentley.
Dentley. So,
Yeah.
Kara Scott is.
So we talked about it a little bit before we got together, because you're a mom, you're a wife, you're an entrepreneur, business owner, rock star, all
Philanthropist.
that. Yeah. So how do you manage? Because I don't like to say balance. How do you manage your time with all of these hats that you wear?
This may sound.
Because people good at saying, I don't have time. You just
Right.
work 9 to 5, boo. Now you don't.
Right, you don't
But you
have
do
time.
so much.
Right.
How do you balance all of that?
You know what?
I said the word. I just said I didn't.
It's
Manage.
okay.
Manage.
We know you meant. We know you meant
Yeah.
manage, baby.
Not
It's okay.
balance.
All of
It's
that.
okay.
Manage.
All
it.
of that. You know what? I have boundaries, and I go according to how I feel. It's the same thing as when my energy is set on something, I go full throttle.
Yes.
Because that's where my energy is set, and that's when I can do my best.
Yeah.
When people try to do too much at the same time, when I say at the same time, I mean like literally at the same time. You have people over here, nursing the baby over here, and then on the phone over here, and it will frustrate you, and it will
Sure.
literally suck the life out of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing something, I'm doing that thing.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with that, then I can move on to the next thing. And I give myself time to just breathe. You have to. I allow myself to have focused energy when the time comes.
Yes.
Focused energy is basically saying, I'm not just doing stuff just to be doing it. I'm doing it with the intention for it to be done and to be done right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call that
To completion.
I call
Yeah.
it intentional focus.
And that's
Because
important.
a lot of times, I read some research that scientists did that the average person finds it difficult to concentrate on one thing for more than a minute. Their mind's going to wander to something else. And so intentional focus is essential
Very.
to Andrew Carnegie. He's the guy. Andrew Carnegie is the man who literally created Think and Grow Rich. It wasn't Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill was dictated, the contents of that book to him dictated by Andrew Carnegie in 1909. He released the book in 1920 or 1935. There was an earlier book that was released called The Science of Success or The Principles of Success, which they made him take off the market because it contained too much information for the general
Think and
public.
Grow Rich.
And so they watered it down and released it as Think and Grow Rich in 1935. But the principle, the main principle, the first principle is called, you can call it intentional focus or that intentional purpose in your life. And so when you are gifted, you will find that your focus will be here. Wherever your focus is, your energy is.
That's right.
And your energy, when you focus your energy on something, that's where the universe comes in. And let me qualify when I say universe. For me, universe is God's resource center.
I'm there. I'm with you.
God's resource
Yeah.
center.
Those things that I understood don't have to be explained.
Yeah,
Right.
because
for the other
because some
But for
people,
people who are listening,
some people
use universe in place of
yeah,
God.
some people take
Right.
universe and want to put God. God created the universe for
Right.
us,
Right.
And there is a resource center that exists that we tap into with our energy and focus.
Yep.
That enables us. And what you're saying is vital. When you said what I focus on, I put I zero in on that. That's the way you're able to be successful. Because if you don't put your energy on it, it's not going to come alive.
It's not.
Yeah, and it crosses over into relationships because I'm sure when you're being mom to Caden, he know he got you. You're
Yes.
not,
Yes.
You're not trying to do this, but he's in the room and
Yeah.
you're trying to listen. You're focused intentionally on him and what he has to
That's it.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's important in relationships.
Absolutely.
You got to pay attention to the person in front of you.
That's what I love about you. When I met you, you were telling me about how Karen,
Moment.
that's what I loved about you. But apart from your faith, you have more faith than anybody I've ever met. Her faith is phenomenal. But it was the requirement that you demanded a person's attention when you're speaking to them. You want them looking. You want eye-to-eye contact. And you were
I have
telling
to
me.
have that.
Now I went through classes with Wendy. I had Wendy 101. I had Wendy 201. I had Wendy 301. I got A's in all my classes.
He did.
That's why he's here now.
That's why
Graduated
he
with a
graduated.
4.0. I did.
Yeah.
Graduated
'Cause
with
it's
honors.
important when you're talking to someone
It is.
to pay attention.
To be engaged.
To
Yes.
be engaged. And
Yes.
if you're looking, if I'm talking to you and you're looking down, I'm like, okay, I'll wait.
She'll stop talking.
I'll stop talking.
She will stop talking.
I have to
and
have
wait.
the eye contact.
It's important because you want to know who you talk to.
Yeah. I was
Not just-
talking to a
but-
family member one time and she was watching, the TV was on. I said, okay, do you mind if we turn this off? Because I don't feel like you're looking at the TV. And a lot of times people don't want to have a conversation.
Right.
So they have to have that distraction.
Yeah.
But then we don't need to have that conversation.
Right.
Because if we can't pay attention to what and listen,
If we're not here.
we're not here, then I don't want to have that conversation.
Right.
It's not important enough to you.
Yeah.
So then I'm not going to invest my time in it.
I think it sends a message when if you allow television to distract you from a vital conversation, you're going to allow the environment to distract you from a vital transaction.
But that's because
Yeah.
people sometimes
Yeah.
don't want to address whatever that topic is.
Yeah. But some people have that weakness, though.
They
babe.
do, but they don't realize that that's what that is.
They haven't disciplined or trained themselves to focus because you disciplined yourself. Again, when you were in the cocoon, you trained yourself to focus because of your disciplines. You had to focus. You couldn't be messing around and getting something wrong, and they send something somewhere, and it's wait a minute, 28 degrees off.
Right.
Right.
did
'Cause as a
this?
scientist, you have to.
Right.
have
Who
to
did
focus.
this?
Kara.
You're like, yeah, I was texting while I was trying to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't happen again.
Mr. Mark.
Yeah. So let's talk about a few of the things that because you have a lot that you and hubby do together.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do together?
We have a nonprofit, which I feel is one of the most rewarding things that we get to do.
Yeah, talk about that.
It's called Already Always Amazing.
I love that title.
Yes, you got to hear us talk about how we came about.
would
the
love to do
title.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the most, like you all were like bantering back and forth.
That's the best part of everything we do. This is what I love to do
and I'm
most
just
because
sitting
we
here
do it
like-
together.
Yeah.
James sitting right here. You take it.
We're going to get both of you guys
Yeah.
on here.
Yes.
We're going to get you both
Definitely.
on.
Oh my God.
It's necessary.
Yeah,
Man.
we got
you
to.
all just
'Cause
love
I can't
that.
even
Actually,
imagine.
you know what? We should have them both on right before that event in December.
Okay.
That would be
That would be
awesome.
Let's make it happen and
Yeah.
promote that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, go ahead about
So
the
Already Always Amazing. It was just birthed out of a need with the city of Chicago. Most people aren't blind to what's happening in Chicago.
Sure.
And Chicago is so rich in so many ways with culture, with, there's a lot of pride in Chicago.
Sure.
It's interesting how when you're in Chicago, you may not speak to a person, but let you find somebody on the outside of Chicago. You could be in
Yeah.
Timbuktu, like,
Chicago, yeah. Yes. Instant
Homeboy,
connection.
Instant
Instant connection.
homegirl.
Yeah.
And so that same love, that same richness, one of the things that we do is it's for children, veterans and seniors. Let me go back and say that.
Okay.
And one of the things that we do for the children through Destination Safe Haven, they needed the grant because a lot of people have nonprofits. They want to help people. The grant dried up. That was providing the food
Sure.
for the kids.
Oh, wow.
And they reached out to us and said, we need help feeding these kids.
Okay.
And so that year, there were over 100 kids, and it was about $4 or $5 per kid per day. And this was for 6 weeks. And so we're like, well, we need to establish a nonprofit so that we can make this thing bigger because it's not just about us and just reaching in our pockets. The first year we did.
Okay.
And, when you're able to do that, then you can do so much more when you're able to do that. One thing that James always says is the best way to help somebody who's struggling is to not be a person that's struggling. To not be one of them,
Yeah.
so that you can help them.
Yeah.
Yes.
In more ways
Yes.
than one.
Yeah.
Financial is one way, and a lot of times financial is not the only thing. You can address the need financially initially, but then there's a deeper rooted
Yeah.
Sure.
issue.
That's just an
Sure.
immediate.
Sure.
That's an
That's an immediate need.
Yeah.
But
But it's the
long term,
mindset
yes.
and everything else has to be addressed. So we are helping these same children write books so that they
Yeah.
can rewrite their story. Your story does
Awesome.
not have to be what has been dished to you.
Okay.
Tell
You know,
it.
you get to write your story
Yeah.
and to let them know that as kids, you get to write that.
Yeah.
Well, what do I have to put? You get to decide.
And what does that do to a child inside?
Oh man, what
Oh my
kid
God.
gets to
It
go back
takes
and
their
say
imagination and
everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go back to school and they say, "What did you do for the summer?"
wrote a
a
book."
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I just want to
Yeah.
take a little side, just a left turn real quick, because you got a book coming out.
I do.
You got a book coming out soon.
very soon.
What's this book
What
about?
is it? Talk about it.
How did I get here?
Did you bring it with you?
I did.
You-
We're
you have it?
still,
Ready.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's still,
It's
it's
close.
still in
Okay.
production.
Okay.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited because a lot of people, there's so many different facets. People just see what they see. And I remember when I was in school, people saw me in school. They didn't know that, you have a cool side. Yeah, because when I'm in
Yeah.
school, I'm in
I'm
school.
focused.
I'm focused.
Yeah.
And then when I was outside, in the
They didn't know you was in school.
and they didn't know, like, you got straight A's.
You smart.
You smart. I'm like, man, what did you think?
Yeah.
What did you think was happening?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. So there's so many different things, but all of it, it's a blessing, but it was all a teacher. And I just want to encourage the listeners that with everything, no matter where you are in life, allow it to teach you. Learn from it.
Yes.
You
You
know,
can learn from
Yes.
everything.
everything.
That's
I mean, because
vital.
I've had some moments that I didn't think I would make it out
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
You know, just the city of Chicago, my environment, you know,
Right.
played a huge part.
Yeah.
And the thing is, some people allow that to be the destination, and that doesn't have to be. You
Yeah.
grow past that.
Yes.
You grow
we should
through
grow
that.
past that.
And one of the things that we always say, and James always says, because, you know, we have a radio show too. We'll talk about that.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry. You want to mention that real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, we on Fridays, you know, the James Dentley show. You
Okay,
know, and he's like,
okay.
we're gonna change the name because we co-host. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's cool, baby. Because I just start sliding in there.
The
And he's
Dentley,
like,
Okay.
the Dentley duo.
the Dentley duo. I like that. I like that. But he always say for people to think big, you have to give them something big to think about. Because if you're only limited by your environment and what you see in front of you, that will be all you will be able to see.
True.
So we give these kids something big to think about. So for those children that are part of our organization, that are part of the Already Always Amazing.
Sure.
We and they finished their books. We sent them, and all expenses paid for them and a parent or adult, grandparent, uncle,
Yeah.
aunt, uncle, to Disney World
Oh, wow.
for a couple of days. Flight, everything, room, everything
beautiful.
paid.
That's beautiful.
And you never know
Yes.
what that can do.
That does so much. Not
It-
only just writing the book, knowing you have that
gosh.
accomplishment,
The
but you got
experience,
something.
man.
Yeah.
You have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm going to write this book, and they keep saying it's all about me. Whatever I want to put in it.
Yeah.
But now I get to go to Disney.
I get to go to, and that was
Kids in the
like a
hood
shock.
don't go to Disney.
They don't go to Disney. I didn't go to Disney.
I
went one
didn't-
time. You
I
know,
went to Riverview.
I didn't go. I
That
didn't go
was
to
it.
Riverview.
I went to Riverview.
I went to
Western
Lakefront.
and Belmont.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
But let me tell
Right.
you, what that does is that's so awesome what you're saying, because I listen to people. I'm an environmental specialist, and I used to be a mortgage originator. I did loans for 20 years. I've been an environmentalist for like 20-something years. And I listen to people talk about their childhood, and I contrast the way they grew up. There's different cultures. How they went to the Grand Canyon, they went to Disney World, they went to Europe, they did here.
Yeah.
They have a different world of view than when I came up.
Right.
I worked when I was in college at DePaul, I was a pre-med student. I did a survey one time. I asked some of the women that worked there. Now, most of them grew up in the South. A lot of them didn't finish grammar school.
Right.
Very few went to high school. They came to Chicago from the South and got jobs. So I asked a couple of them, I said, do you think there are more African Americans or blacks than whites in America? They said, oh, it's more blacks in America, because that's all they ever
That's
saw.
their environment. Yeah.
That's all they saw. That was their worldview.
Right.
And I also saw a survey that said there's a certain housing community just outside, it's in the city limits, but just barely. They said the people, they're born there, they go to school, they go to grammar school, they go to high school, they grocery shop at the same store.
Yep.
They never leave that community.
It's true.
Yeah.
Facts.
And I'm
And
like,
it's
when I saw
generational.
that, it's generational,
Yeah.
because their worldview is limited. They don't believe that there's anything else. They have no. So what you guys are doing is expanding the worldview of the next double scientist, the next James Dentley,
Taking them out of that
the
box
next,
that they know.
Barack Obama, the next Oprah Winfrey, the next, not just athletics, because we got a lot of that, but I'm talking to people who are entrepreneurs, business owners, scientists, writers, teachers, professors, creators, innovators, technology people, that expanding their worldview, stirring that gift that God put in them, it's in them.
Yeah.
But that expansion of that worldview explodes that seed.
Yeah.
Where they
It
it's
takes
like
that
the
ceiling and
it
blows it off.
It does.
blows it off
It
the
does.
roof.
It
Yeah.
does. It takes the blanket off, and they
Yeah.
can see things differently.
What I love about Kara, I just want to say, because you see pretty girls, and pretty girls have a box that they're usually put in stereotypically, right? Then you have smart girls. Okay, they don't get to go in the same box with the pretty girl. They're gonna look like smart, like, oh yeah, she's smart. She's smart. You give it on a date with someone, she's smart. She takes that,
Well,
and
at
then the
least she's
cool
smart.
girl, your kicky, your girlfriend,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other box.
Yeah.
But you take it, and you can't nobody stereotype you, which is what I love.
She ain't gonna. They can't put her in a box.
Like
I
you
can
said,
tell
they was
that
like,
right now.
you smart.
Oh, you
Yes,
smart,
I
right?
am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
And
run with the
oh,
best of them, baby.
Yes,
I was valedictorian.
Come on, give me that. I love it.
Just saying.
And it's not. And I know when I was growing up, I was like I was a smart girl. I was the goody goody, and I hated it because it was a negative title to have.
Right.
Oh, you
a nerd?
She's a bookworm. She's
Right.
a nerd. Yeah. But you take nerd, you take smart, and make it look good and make it's cool.
Yeah.
And it should be.
Thank you. And it should be.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah. So
I mean-
we need to stop teasing like. And my mother, she's wonderful. When you go outside, I want to read the books. I'm good.
Right.
So if I had a child, because Matthew is not that child who want to stay in, but if he was like that and he wanted to read, okay, do you? Because I want to develop who he is, not who I want him to be.
Oh, that's good. That's what I
And
do.
that's as
vital.
parents what we
vital.
tend to
Very
do.
vital.
Well, I didn't get to go
Right.
and do this, so I want my child to do that.
And we dump it on them.
And we dump
Yeah,
it on them.
yeah.
And that's
Oh,
not fair.
It's not fair.
I told him, I said, yeah, this is not the career I would choose for you, but it's not for me to choose.
Right.
You do you, and I got your back the whole
Have
way.
fun. Where we going? Where we
You
acting
take
today?
it. You take it and you
Where we
run
acting
with
today?
it.
That's,
Yeah,
you
and
know
if you
what?
change your mind in the middle, that's your
Look,
decision.
We do that with so many things because we're not present mentally, emotionally. I see a lot of people do this. They spend a lot of money. I don't spend a lot of money on my son because it's a lot of stuff he don't want.
Yeah.
Like I might take him shopping. People want to get the latest Jordans for their kids. My
Right.
baby was like, "I want light ups." I'm like, "What light ups it is?"
Yeah.
That's what you
Light
get.
ups.
That's what you
My
get.
son is so sharp, and I thank God.
so
I must have just
handsome.
passes down.
He's so handsome.
Smell the boy.
Yeah.
I used to call him my man child.
Yes.
And around Christmas, people asking him, "What do you want for Christmas? What is Santa gonna bring you?" And he's like, "I don't want anything for Christmas. That's a waste of money."
Wow.
Oh boy.
That was
Uh-oh.
at 6 because he just turned 7 in May.
Yeah.
That was at 6.
May what?
May 16th.
Man, it's May 10th, girl.
May 16th. That
That's
came
good,
out of
though.
him. And I didn't tell him to say
Yeah.
that. He'll tell you in a minute, "Mama, we don't need that. It's a waste of money."
Love that.
I love
Out
that.
of the mouths of
You're creating a
I love
whole
that.
new generation of just people who are smart and like you said, intentional with what you do.
I think the model that you've created, you have to do a children's book. You really do. You need to do a children's book. I was at a
Or have him do it.
or have him do it. Even
Kaden
more
would be
so.
powerful with that.
Yeah.
Kids are going to be like, wait, what? Because a lot of times
Ooh.
people equate with,
He
I
said
don't
he
spend a
wanna
lot
write.
of money with lack. You in there, you
Yeah.
pulling the 2-ply tissue apart.
Right.
That's what people associate
Right.
it with.
No, but let me tell
but
you,
you can be fine, you
yeah.
can be sharp, you can be happy.
I have seen the hunger of parents looking. I'm a part of a group of authors called the Chicago Black Authors Network, and we went to the Indianapolis Black Expo back in July.
Okay.
August. Was it August? July we went.
about to say, I don't know.
And the guys
do
who
so
wrote
much.
children's books, the parents, and it wasn't a race thing, it was just parents looking for books for their children. But it's all about them finding books with characters that look like their children. But what about some books written by a child telling them the values that you've taught your son? That,
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Can you
That's
imagine
not
that
what-
book title? I don't want anything for Christmas. That's a waste of money. I know a
Yeah.
parent would be like, what?
We get
It
this
would.
book.
I guarantee you it would be a bestseller. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. And
Because that's not something we teach our children.
but it's.
and I've never seen
I
a book
think-
like that.
No, you haven't. And
Yeah.
I think, and that's a gift I have of sharing with people things that
Yeah.
would bless them. And I think
Thank
that
you.
model that you have is a perfect model for your son to. You help him
It's
with
needed.
it.
It
Help
is
him write the
needed.
book. And I'm telling you, he'll wind up all over the place because he obviously has the intellect and he has the spirit and the fortitude, and he's got Mama Bear
Yeah.
watching over. You
We
know?
have run out of time once again, baby.
Oh man!
And Papa
look,
Bear.
listen,
We're
talk
gonna
about
have
the
you-
event one more time in December.
So yes, December, what is that? 13th, 14th, 15th.
Called Limitless.
Called Limitless. You want to make sure that you plug in. It's for women, by women, where everything is possible. But you can also, it doesn't exclude the men. It's just, we just make sure that we uplift the women.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we can find out more information on the Facebook page, Kara Scott-Dentley.
Kara Scott
Kara with a
Dentley
K.
on Facebook.
Yes.
Follow
Thank you so
her.
much for being on the show.
We gotta
This is a
have we gotta
blessing.
have you and Dr. Dentley
Absolutely.
on the show. We got to have you guys
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
This was such a treat. Thank you so much
You're
for spending
welcome.
time with us. And I know the things you've shared have blessed some families.
Amen.
So listen, until next week, I'm James Carpenter Barnes.
I am Wendy B.
And we will see you guys next Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. on the Artist First Radio Network. Until then, allow God's grace to flow in your life as a mighty river.
Hi, this is Wendy, and welcome to The Wendy Life. This is a brand new show. We are celebrating some unsung champions in our community, the disabled community. I have been a mom of disabled children for 21 years, and I look to bring light to this community. We are going to talk to you and celebrate therapists, teachers, doctors in this community. We're going to talk to the special needs community themselves, people who are rocking out this life despite their disability, showing us how to live our best lives no matter what life throws at us.
The Wendy Life. New episodes every second and fourth Friday on the Road to Eternity channel.
Thanks for listening to JW Fusion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.